Hello, hi, I'm Abby Schneiderman. I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of Everplans, a platform that's all about helping people get prepared for the unexpected. Thank you so much to Day One for having us here. We're thrilled to be here, and I'm really looking forward to talking today about the topic of in case you get hit by a bus. I thought that what we would do is talk a little bit about how we got started, how my company Everplans, which I founded over 12 years ago, came to be, and then talk a little bit about the key components of getting your life organized for the unexpected. And so I should take this clicker. Okay, so how this all began, that was on my wedding day. This started over 10 years ago when I was planning my wedding, and I was using all of these online resources out there like theknot.com and Martha Stewart's websites, and I was on them every single day. I was on their apps and their guides and their calendars and their checklists, and I say this all the time. I don't know why my brain went from marriage to death, but I started to think about life's over, what's next, and what are the other life stages are there, and what are the other resources that are out there that are gonna guide me through really the rest of my life. And I started looking into it. I'm a repeat tech entrepreneur. I was curious, and I just started looking into the space and found that there were plenty of resources for people planning weddings, plenty of resources for having children, plenty of resources for buying a home, financial planning, even retirement planning. But after retirement planning, that was it. There were no other life stages covered online, seriously. And so I mentioned this idea to my now longtime co-founder and another tech veteran from New York City, Adam Seifer, and I said, who's helping people deal with death? And he said, somebody is. It's the biggest life stage that there is. Not everybody gets married. Not everybody has kids, but everybody has to deal with this one day, whether it's for themselves or for their aging parents, but this is something we can't avoid. And I said, well, I don't know, and I haven't found anything. And so we started looking into it. We actually started by writing content. We wrote over 500 articles originally, now we have thousands, but on everything from how do you write a will, to what do you wear to a funeral, to how do you name a healthcare proxy. And Everplans was the result. We actually started coming up very highly in Google search for every article we were writing. We were like, wow, there's something really here. And a big part of our personal story is that a year after we launched Everplans, the content platform, I had a terrible situation happen in my personal life, which was that my 51-year-old brother was on his way to lunch on vacation with his family when he was struck and killed by a 20-year-old impaired driver driving down the wrong side of the road. And this is actually a picture of me and my brother a long time ago, obviously. In an instant, everything changed for me and for my family that day. Luckily, my brother had life insurance. He didn't have a will, which we didn't know. He didn't have his accounts organized. We had no idea what to do. We had no idea what he would have wanted. We had no idea about anything, and we're in this fog that you're in when something like this happens. And we realized that this was a disaster. And we needed to go, Adam and I were talking throughout this entire experience, and we said we need to do more than just provide articles and resources for people. We actually need to help people get a plan in place ahead of time so that when the time does come or when an emergency strikes, families have access to what they need. So we started to build Everplans, the planning platform that it is today. We have a technology platform that helps people to organize, store, share, and keep up to date everything that they need in case they get hit by a bus. Everything from wills to life insurance policies to healthcare directives to online accounts. I'll talk a little bit more in a minute. Today, we've had over 30 million people who've engaged with our resources since we launched. We've had over 160,000 people who have created vaults on our platform, and over 3 million pieces of information have been stored and shared that we're really proud of. And we also wrote a book called In Case You Get Hit by a Bus, How to Organize Your Life Now for When You're Not Around Later. And it actually, it came out, we got 2 book offers during COVID, which was kind of crazy. And the publisher we chose was Workman Publishing, who did What to Expect When You're Expecting, if you're familiar with that book. So how Everplans works is you create an Everplan, you upload information, whether it's a will, your life insurance, but other documents, but also practical information like the Wi-Fi password, the Hulu password, the alarm code, the unlock code for your phone, all of the stuff that I'm personally fumbling around for, various times throughout my day or at the doctor's office or whatever. You upload the information, you store it securely. We have a HIPAA compliant and SOC 2 compliant vault platform today. And then you can access information, articles, resources that are educational, help inspire you to teach you the things that you don't even know about in the first place. And then you make sure that that information is shared properly with the people in your life who need access to it. We call those people deputies. And then over time, what the system does, which is really the best part of the system, is that it nudges you and reminds you and helps you keep this stuff up to date, because if you start to work on this, you'll realize things go out of date, things change. But what we have found over the many years in building this platform is that there's a real cost for being disorganized. 65% of full-time employees in the US said they feel anxious when critical information and documents are all over the place. 84% of full-time employees in the US are less productive when they feel disorganized. And 86% of employees in the US say they're less stressed when they feel more organized. I personally know how much better I feel when I'm organized, like organizing my Tupperware drawer gives me the greatest pleasure. I love the Container Store, but I'm maybe weird. But so we're new in the benefit space. This is our first series of sessions from day one. And what we have found is that this is a really, truly unique employee benefit, because we know there's a major tie between personal productivity and workplace productivity. Today, what I'm going to do is talk about the 4 pillars of life and legacy planning. These are the components that we really stress highly in our platform, in our work, and all the stuff that we do on a daily basis. But really, it's about important documents, making sure that you have all the right important documents in place. We'll talk about all of this. Insurance policies, making sure you have the right insurance policies, but then making sure that the critical details about those policies are accessible and known about. Money, assets, and more. This is about your financial accounts. This is about your digital assets. This is about all of the different types of things that you need to think about that you might not be thinking about. And then lastly is about leaving a legacy, how you want to be remembered. And that's not going to be a sad or scary part. That'll I promise. By the way, none of this needs to be sad or scary. When we originally started Everplans, the whole premise was to make this topic more human, more relatable, and more accessible. Because what we have found is that when people are afraid of thinking about it, or they're superstitious, like apparently my brother was, that they put it off or they don't do it. And it's just really important. It's really important. And so the first thing that we talk about in the legal documents space is wills. This is about who gets your assets and do you need to name guardians if you have children. Then there's power of attorney, which is who should be making financial and legal decisions on your behalf if you can't. And then lastly is advance directives. Who should be making health decisions on your behalf if you can't, and what sort of treatments do you want in the first place? And what we have found is that it's actually not that hard to do the documents. The hardest part is in making the decisions. And so what Everplans does is it helps walk you through the types of decisions that you're going to have to make. It helps you think through the hard, difficult conversations to have. We give you pointers on how to broach this topic with different people in your life. Next, we talk about the insurance policies. There are life insurance policies, health insurance policies, auto insurance, pet insurance, property, disability. All of these, many of these, I imagine, are insurance policies that employers in this room are offering to their employees, and that's great. We say, okay, get the policies then in a system, organized properly so that the policy details don't get lost. And something to know is that billions of dollars every year go in unclaimed policies that family members don't know about. I have personal family friends who this has happened to, where the family member has passed away and they did not know for many months or many years that there was a policy put in place to help them, and this would have been a critical thing to know about. So as you're doing this, another thing to then think about, do I have the right coverage? Do I need to be? These are all the kinds of things that the Everplans platform is helping people to think through and get in place. And then, of course, there's financial accounts. for 401ks, 529s, credit card information, safe deposit box information. Literally, I'm not joking, my dad took me 2 weeks ago to a PNC bank where they live in Delaware and said, I just want you to, my dad's 88, this is where our safe deposit box is. I said, Dad, how are you just telling me this now? And he actually said, I put it in my Everplan too. But so, he's a super user. I'm very proud of him, so I'll tell him I mentioned him today. But so it's really important, we say, even if you're gonna do nothing, take 5 minutes and just jot down the top 5 accounts that you have. If you don't feel comfortable putting in the account details or the account numbers, that's fine. Just list out the 5 accounts you have and maybe the contact information of who somebody should reach out to. Just doing that alone saves your family so much stress. And by the way, this doesn't have to be end of life planning. This is just good, organizational hygiene. This will make you sleep better at night today. And this is one thing I'll say. We're on a mission. I've been doing this now for 12 years. We are on a mission to getting better organized a daily healthy habit. And it's part of the reason why we're here today and now starting to talk to employers about working with your employees on this. We think it's an often overlooked type of financial planning, financial literacy. This is really important stuff, and we're looking for champions to get involved. Think about your household. This is actually, I use Everplans a lot for household information. The Wi-Fi password I mentioned, the Hulu password. My kids are always asking for, every TikTok and whatever they're doing. But the average household could have 15 vendors or services associated with it. Think about the electrician, the plumber, if you have a gardener, all that contact information, or think about the quirks. This is something we talk about. People are like, oh, I didn't think about that. Think about the quirks that only you know about. Sorry to bring up my dad again, but we lived together over COVID for a few months, and the garbage disposal in the sink stopped working. The sink disposal stopped working. And I said, Dad, I can't get it to work. He goes, oh, let me help you. And he brought in a broom and he started shoving it down the sink. And I said, Dad, is that the way that this works? Like, what if you weren't here? How would I have known to do that? And so we bring that example up because I'm sure you have examples like that in your own life. Think about if you weren't around to help, or there might be information that somebody else in your household or somebody else that you care about has that you don't have, that you want to make sure, like how to change the light bulbs, which was something someone started crying to us about a few years ago because their husband passed away and they literally had everything set up on a Nest and the wife did not know how to change a single thing in the house. So then there's understanding your digital estate. This is really important. Today, the average number of accounts that an internet user has is 240. This is up from 130 accounts in 2020. So just think about how many more this is going to be in the next few years. And this is everything from social media accounts, cryptocurrency accounts, all the different types of accounts, but it's also your physical digital hardware. So your iPhone, your phone, your Android phone, the unlock code for your phone, your computer, the unlock code for your computer, things like that. And we did a study, 65% of people keep track of passwords in their heads. Okay, this is a major problem. I personally recommend using a password manager. I use 2 different password managers, one for work, one for my personal life. And all you need to do then is just remember one password, and we put that we say to put that one password in something like Everplans. But if you don't feel comfortable using a password manager, then what you can do is just list out, just don't put them on sticky notes all over your computer. But what you can do is make a file, have all of the passwords in there, and then just make sure to keep it up to date. Lastly, is leaving a legacy, which is the final pillar that we talk about. Leaving a legacy, as I said, doesn't have to be sad. It doesn't have to be morbid. It could maybe be fun. You can think about the different types of things that matter to you, that you want to make sure get passed down in your family. For me, it's recipes. Recipes that my grandmother made, cookies that I make with my children. I want to make sure that they're making those same recipes with their children, and so on and so forth. It could be favorite videos. It could be family photos that you want to make sure people are who people are in certain photos are documented. We have a whole section in Everplans that helps people write an ethical will, which helps you think through the things that are important to you in your life and how you want to make sure you get remembered or the other people in your family get remembered. And we do offer templates for this and really think it's important that people start to think about it. And then lastly, it's just really important to update your plan. So, whether there's been a major life event, a new marriage, a divorce, buying a home, a cash windfall, if you're that lucky, things change in your life, decisions change. The things that you may have created documents around, those decisions may have changed. It's really important to go back through those things and once a year or as major life events occur, take a look at the decisions that you've made or the documents that you've created and make sure they don't need to get updated. And we have, as I mentioned before, our system helps you with prompts and nudges and reminders. And so we are, you can contact us at, thank you, by the way, for having me and Everplans here today. As I said, this is our first series of really benefits events, and we're new in this space, but we believe so much in what we're doing, and we need more people to champion this with us. So thank you for listening, and if you'd like to reach out to us, please contact us at wellbeing@everplans.com. We also have the book around. We're happy to provide you with a copy, and we also can help you get set up with Everplans. Thank you.